What's up, everybody? Demon back. Welcome to I can't speak. Why can't I speak? What's up, everybody? Demon back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing another Godzilla King of the Monsters discussion video. It's kind of a news video, but it's kind of both. It's kind of both a discussion and a news video, so it's just a Godzilla King of the Monsters video. Okay, so, I know, I'm very far behind on news, I understand. I know there's a new poster out that's really cool. I know there's all this other fun stuff going on right now, but I don't have time to make a video about that stuff, so we're gonna do a quick little discussion on the, and I say quick, but, I never know how long these videos are gonna turn out. We're gonna do a discussion on the Godzilla King of the Monsters box office, because, from what we understand, it's not looking great, but, we'll just break it down, okay? There's a box office tracking. Where does this come from? BoxOfficePro.com, that's where it looks like it comes from, and they did their initial predictions. It's only the one. I don't think we have any other initial predictions for the movie yet. That will probably come later when ticket pre-sales go in order. The first initial prediction we have comes to us from a pretty popular source, and it places Godzilla 2 with an estimate of $40 to $60 million for opening weekend. And now you might go, 40 to 60 million? That is a lot of money, but that is really not good. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad opening weekend, it's just underperforming. If it opens at 60, it won't be bad, but it will be kind of underperforming. I actually think 60 million's fair. I just think that, the 40, it's a bit on the low end. I would have put it at like, and this is kind of conservative, but I would have put it between like 50 to 70 million. I think that's a safe bet because it's probably going to wind up in the 60 million range if I had to guess. Well, anyways, we'll talk about it because that's what we're here to do. So the reason that it's not great is because this movie's budget, and this is just supposedly, there is no official confirmation on this, but supposedly the movie's budget sits somewhere close to $200 million. That is a lot of money, and it makes sense. If we look back to Godzilla 2014's budget, that was opened with kind of a small budget. Godzilla 2014 kicked off the MonsterVerse, didn't have a huge budget for a blockbuster film. It had $160 million. That's still a lot of money, but it's not like one of your bigger blockbusters. They usually have a bit larger of a budget. You go from $160 million with Godzilla to the next installment in the MonsterVerse, which was Kong Skull Island, that had a budget of $185 million, so that was an increase. And now we got Godzilla King of the Monsters, which looks to be the biggest of the bunch. It looks to have the most CG, the most going on, so I would say that probably 200 million is a safe bet, but again, that's unconfirmed. That is just an estimation. Now, when taking all this into consideration, the Godzilla 2 box office, I think 40 to 60 is actually kind of low. Like I said, I do believe that saying that it will hit the 60 mark is conservative but safe. I think if we say 50 to 70, or maybe we want to move it to like 60 to 80, maybe that range is a little bit better, but it ultimately doesn't matter. What matters is what actually happens. And here's the thing is Kong Skull Island was tracked to open at anywhere from 45 to 50 million. That was where it was tracked to open, and it opened at 61 million. It did way better than people thought it would. So Kong Skull Island blew the box office predictions out of the water, and 45 to 50 million wasn't great for Kong Skull Island either. People were worried back then as well. So I don't think we need to worry about it because the MonsterVerse obviously has some people caring about it. If we had that big of an opening for Kong Skull Island, that was the most recent film in the MonsterVerse, and Godzilla's kind of become more of a popular character in America. I find that to be weird, but he kind of has. Godzilla's kind of become more culturally relevant in America, and with this new Godzilla King of the Monsters, we saw way more hype for it at SDCC than we have for any other Godzilla movie, for any other MonsterVerse movie. Kong didn't get this. We see way more normies doing breakdowns, new rock stars doing trailer breakdowns. Everyone's doing trailer breakdowns. Mr. Sunday Movies is now covering the MonsterVerse. Everyone's covering the MonsterVerse now because people care about it. It is a hot topic and it will sell because Godzilla King of the Monsters had a lot of hype around it. And if we go back to Godzilla 2014, Godzilla 2014 did better than Kong at opening weekend at the box office. Godzilla 2014 was tracked to open with 60 to 70 million, so that's kind of the estimate that I put it at, 50 to 70. A safe estimate, I truly believe. And you know what? Godzilla 2014, a movie that wasn't totally very well anticipated. I mean, I know there was a lot of buzz about it, but I feel like a lot of that was negative. I think there was a lot of a negative attention to that movie, at least from what I remember. I know a lot of people were really hyped for it, but then once it came out, especially once it came out, there was a lot of negative attention for it. But anyways, I think 50 to 70 is safe here as well. But look what Godzilla 2014 did opening weekend. Godzilla 2014 killed it with an opening box office of $93 million opening weekend. So it got nearly 30 million more than what it was initially predicted to get, or 20 million if you want to go with the middle of the road there, with the 50 million estimate. So if we're looking at Godzilla 2014 that had this incredibly popular opening weekend, especially given the initial predictions, and then you look at Kong Skull Island, which was a bit lower than Godzilla's, but still it was better than what was predicted, I truly believe that it will go up again. I don't know if it will reach that 93 million again like it did for Godzilla 2014. It might surpass it. It could. It always could, because more people want to see King of the Monsters than more people wanted to see 2014, at least from what I understand and from what I can see. But I still don't think it will necessarily reach that same levels again. I think it'll fall between Kong and 2014's opening. I think that's where this movie will open, and that's not a bad thing. I do find it interesting that even given Kong Skull Island and Godzilla 2014 outperforming their initial box office predictions, we still have such a low estimate for King of the Monsters with 40 to 60 million. That is lower than either of the other MonsterVerse movies, so I find that to be interesting, certainly. And I think that Legendary also finds that to be interesting, because I think they're starting to sweat a little bit. You know, we have seen a massive advertisement push in these last few weeks, especially since this prediction came out, resulting in lots of spoiler-heavy TV spots, and you know, I've stayed away from them, so I actually don't know what's in them, but from what I've heard, there's lots of spoilers in the TV spots, which is why I stay away from them. This is also the reason why Godzilla King of the Monsters has a special 5-minute preview before screenings of Shazam, Hellboy. Now it's rumored that Endgame might also have one. There's been TV spots during The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, these massive cultural phenomenons. What else is there? There's something else going on. I forget which movie. I think it's like, it's one of the new Ghost movies that's coming out, also has the 5-minute screening of Godzilla before it. They're doing this massive Godzilla push in theaters and in TV. There's also these new DVDs that Legendary and Warner Brothers, I don't know which company it is. I think it's Warner Brothers. I think Warner Brothers is re-releasing DVDs including like Rampage, Pacific Rim, Godzilla 2014, Kong Skull Island, Ready Player One. I saw one for like Terminator 3. That one was weird. And there's a couple other like Live, Die, Repeat. I forget what that movie was initially called. Edge of Tomorrow, I think. Loads of movies. I believe they're all Warner Brothers. They could be Legendary and Warner Brothers split. Anyways, loads of movies are now being re-released in Walmart. And if you buy them, it's got a brand new cover, like a very artsy cover, and you get a certain amount off your Godzilla King of the Monsters tickets, because they're trying to incentivize people to go see Godzilla King of the Monsters. I really do think they're starting to sweat a little bit. I wouldn't. I don't think I would worry about it. And, you know, I've seen, you can go either way with that. You can say, oh, they are starting to worry, and that's why they are doing this massive push. Or you could say, no, they're doing this because they are super confident in the movie, and they are just going for it because they're like, this is going to be our summer blockbuster, and we want people to see it. So you could look at it either way. I'm kind of a negative person, as you guys have probably figured out. So I'm going to assume that they're starting to sweat. And I think we can fix this. This is not anything bad. We've already proven that the MonsterVerse can outperform its box office predictions, and I think it will continue to do so, especially if we support Godzilla King of the Monsters by using the hashtag Godzilla King of the Monsters on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere else. That will definitely help. If we flood that hashtag, if we flood the ticket pre-sales, that will be the biggest thing. When ticket pre-sales go online, make sure you buy your IMAX tickets, and I do say IMAX because that will increase the box office revenue for the movie, and I always see movies in IMAX, and it's just better that way. Trust me. I've seen almost every movie that I've seen for the past 5 years has been in IMAX, and it's always worth it. So yeah, go see your movie in IMAX. Even if you're going to see the standard, that's okay. Just flood those ticket pre-sales. If we do that, I guarantee that the box office predictions will increase, assuming that the ticket pre-sales do as well as I would like them to do. I mean, I'm not saying we're going to go Endgame here and like Fandango and everywhere else is going to crash as a result of Godzilla fans flooding ticket pre-sales. That'd be really cool, but it won't happen. I do think, though, there is the possibility that we could buy out multiple theaters, and then, you know, like a lot of theaters. I seriously think this movie's popular enough to do that, and that would help increase this confidence in the movie, I guess. Also, take Michael Dougherty's advice at, what was it? It was like Monsterpalooza. He gave the advice, bring 4 or 5 non-Godzilla fans to the movies with you. Not only will that increase the ticket sales, of course, but you bring these non-kaiju fans to a movie that they will hopefully enjoy, and if they do, word of mouth will spread. More non-kaiju fans will hear about how good this movie was, and then more non-kaiju fans will go see the movie, and that's what we really need. We need the normies to go see this movie, and then we need the normies to go flood Godzilla vs. Kong as well, because we want more MonsterVerse after that. So let word of mouth spread. Let all these random YouTube channels that have no business breaking down Godzilla trailers continue to break down Godzilla trailers and spread misinformation and talk about how Anguirus is going to be in the movie. Let them do that, because that will get more people in the theaters. Just don't fall for the clickbait. Don't be stupid. All right, preach the word of Godzilla, fellas, and we can save this movie that I don't actually think needs saving. I think this movie's pretty safe. Like I said, 50 to 70. Hopefully it outperforms my predictions. Hopefully it does better than Godzilla 2014's. I just think that it's kind of weird because you would think that it would do better because there is more hype for this movie. But I also think it's just going to be like one of those weird situations where it doesn't do as well as 2014. Probably because this movie is coming out in a very packed weekend. May 31st has like multiple new movies coming out. There's also loads of movies coming out in May. So, ooh, legendary. You guys really picked a weekend, didn't you? Yeah, May 31st is going to be packed full of movies. Make sure you see Godzilla. Make sure that's your movie. And go see it multiple times too. That never hurts. So there's my little discussion on the box office. I know that was like a normal length video, but whatever. I don't really care. It's just easier to do than the news and updates. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. D-Man, out.